Hi, it's Emma Gray here, author of The Last Love Note. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the importance of persistence in the face of rejection when we're talking about creative goals. This is something that I've had to not only come to terms with, but to really embrace over the years. This idea that to get anywhere with our writing, we need to become very comfortable with rejection and with criticism and with failure. I am now the author of 5 books, and I think I learnt this during the process of writing one of my teenage novels a few years ago. The book was rejected 17 times, which is actually not that many for a lot of authors. If you start to delve into people's rejection stories, most authors that you know of will tell you that their books were rejected many, many times. So I actually feel quite lucky that there was only 17. I remember the first rejection as being particularly crushing. My agent had been fairly convinced that this book was going to get across the line, and at the last minute it fell over. And I took that so hard. But after a while, I think it was just a switch in mindset where we almost turned it into a game. And I've now, several years later, embraced this whole notion of aiming to get lots of rejections in a year, to the point where I've actually got a chart that's on my kitchen wall where I'm collecting all my rejections and recording them, and I even get my children involved in writing them down on the wall when something fails. And this kind of approach has meant that I have now had several publishing deals across the world. I have had other creative goals to do with my photography. For example, I have finally, after 7 years of trying, managed to capture photos of the Aurora Australis, which is same as the Aurora Borealis, but in the southern hemisphere. And this is something that was on my bucket list for years, and something that I've worked into the storyline in The Last Love Note. And again, it took many, many times of going out in the middle of the night in the dark and coming home with blurry photos or photos of nothing much at all, and persisting until I finally captured those images. That was the fulfillment of a dream I've held for decades. The feeling of achievement when you do finally crack that, when you finally reach a goal that you've been striving for years, is like nothing else. But it's something that a lot of people miss out on because they can't bring themselves to push through those initial rejections and failures. So I just want to encourage you, if you are a writer, to push through and persist in the face of creative disappointment, because it's something that if we embrace it and turn it into a bit of a game and chase it, start recording them on the wall on a chart if that helps, eventually something will fall into the hands of the person who loves it. And that's what has happened to me with Zibby Books, and I'm just absolutely thrilled that Zibby is publishing The Last Love Note. And I'd love to hear from you and chat with you about your creative dreams and plans and help each other through. Thanks, everyone.